So you're thinking about moving to Dawsonville, Georgia. Maybe you want a small town feel of living in the mountains, but you also need some close proximity to Atlanta, Georgia. Then you're probably considering a place like Dawsonville, Georgia. If you're coming from a different part of the country, a different state, or even maybe a different part of Georgia, you need to know everything there is to know about living in a small town in the North Georgia mountains like Dawsonville. Dawsonville has been a big part of my life over the past 20 plus years or so. I've lived around Dawsonville for quite some time, worked in Dawsonville for quite a long time as well. I'll give you the pros and cons, everything you need to know about living in Dawsonville, Georgia. And if you stick around, I will also tell you about the nuclear facility that was once in Dawsonville, Georgia. Hope you enjoy the video, stick around, and have a great time together. Hey everybody, my name is Tim Gibson. I am a realtor in North Georgia, and my channel is all about moving to North Georgia. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And of course, if you are thinking about moving out, please reach out. My contact info is right here on the screen. And let's jump into our video about the pros and cons of Dawsonville, Georgia. One of the pros of Dawsonville, Georgia is the proximity to Atlanta. Atlanta is the capital of Georgia, the largest city in Georgia, and the majority of your industry is located in or around Atlanta. So any town I'd say that's within about an hour commute of Atlanta, and if you do have to commute, I would say take a look at one of those types of towns. That way you can get into Atlanta relatively quickly if you do have to commute down that way. That being said, Atlanta is well known for massive amounts of traffic. But one of the pros of Dawsonville, and I'm just going to be talking about living in Dawsonville or Dawson County, not necessarily Atlanta. One of the pros is that there's not a lot of traffic in Dawsonville. That's because it's a very small town. Dawson County in total is less than 30,000 people. I think it's maybe 28,000 people. So naturally, there's not a lot of traffic, not a lot of commuter traffic if you are living and working in Dawsonville or maybe close by somewhere like Cumming or Gainesville. I will say that on the weekends, the major shopping area on Georgia 400, that's a very congested area. Lots of people come up from Atlanta down south to do some shopping. There's the outlet mall up there. Just be aware that there is some traffic on the weekends. A lot of tourists come in, a lot of people just coming to hang out on the weekends. So naturally, one of the pros is you have a lot of shopping in Dawsonville, especially for a small county. You have the North Georgia Premium Outlets right there, and that's the hub for the entire shopping area right there on Georgia 400. You also have like your Marshalls, your Ross, your Hobby Lobby. You got Home Depot, you got Walmart, you've got a little bit of everything right there. There's Restoration Hardware. You can do all of your shopping in this one area. You also have 4 or 5 grocery stores right there too. You got Publix, Kroger, Ingles that I can think of off the top of my head. Of course, you got your Dollar Generals there too. I think shopping wise, you've got lots of options there, and you're also in a small town, so you're not in the middle of the suburbs all congested with hundreds of thousands of people and then everyone's trying to shop in the same place. So for those of you who live in Dawson County, this next one might be a little controversial, but I would say one of the cons of Dawsonville and Dawson County is that there aren't a lot of hangout spots. Now when I say hangout spots, I'm thinking, let's say you live in a place like Forsyth County and Cumming, where you've got all these like Cumming City Center and Halcyon, all these places that have bars and shops and restaurants and everything all concentrated together in one little planned development. Dawsonville doesn't really have anything like that. I've heard of a couple of developments on the books. I think some of the locals are not real happy about that and don't want that type of thing up in Dawsonville. But you know, if you're looking for like a bar scene or something like that, you're just not going to get that in Dawsonville really. You do have some good restaurants. You have some decent local restaurants. Dawsonville Pool Room is one of the good ones. You do have a Starbucks and some decent coffee shops. One I do want to mention is Because Coffee in Dawsonville, right there off of Highway 53. Awesome place to go visit. Doug is the man. Go say hi to Doug if you're in town. One of the major pros of living in Dawson County, however, is all of the access to outdoor activities. You've got no shortage of things to do outside. I'm just going to list a few off for you. This is not going to be an exhaustive list, but things that I can think of. Number 1, Lake Lanier. Right there, you've got plenty of access to Lake Lanier. You've got Toto Creek Park, Thompson Creek Park, and a couple others. Those places you can launch your boat, get on the lake. Awesome stuff. Amicalola Falls is an amazing place to visit. Really cool place. If you're in the area, definitely go check that out. You also have a couple of local parks. Rock Creek Park is great. You've got a paved trail that goes around the park. You've got your soccer fields, your baseball fields, and all that good stuff there. Another place that's unique that's really cool is is Etowah Sporting Clays, which is right there by Rock Creek Park on Highway 9. You can go take your shotgun out there and shoot skeet. Really cool, fun thing to do. The Appalachian Trail Approach Trail is in Dawson County, so you can get up to the Appalachian Trail from the western part of the county, northwestern. For you golfers out there, you got Chestatee Golf Club, and the Etowah River runs through part of Dawson County. Lots of tubing, kayaking, fun things to do on the river there. Another pro I wanted to mention about Dawsonville is that there are a lot of unique things to do in Dawsonville. Things that you can't really find anywhere else, especially in the area. Number one, I would say, is the Atlanta Motorsports Park. It's an awesome racetrack in the western part of the county. You can do 55-mile-an-hour go-kart racing. A lot of people bring their fancy cars up, like their Lamborghinis and Porsches and Corvettes and all this stuff, and they take them up on the weekends and they do track days. There's also, I think, a driving school there. There's all kinds of fun stuff to do, and it's kind of hidden in the mountains up there, but if you don't know about it, you should definitely take a look at that website. MP is awesome. Speaking of racing, the Georgia Racing Hall of Fame is actually located in Dawsonville, and two notable NASCAR drivers are from Dawsonville, Bill Elliott and Chase Elliott, famous family from Dawsonville, Georgia, believe it or not. Another place that a lot of people love, and this place is packed in the fall, it's called Burt's Pumpkin Farm. During the fall, lots of people love to go up to Burt's Pumpkin Farm. They pick out their pumpkin for the fall season, for Halloween, and there's just rows and rows of thousands of pumpkins. Lots of people also love to go and take some photos there. Fun place to check out. Also wanted to mention that the Moonshine Festival is put on by an organization, a nonprofit called Care for Kids. There's also a car show there at the Moonshine Festival. A lot of fun stuff to do. Your vendors, all kinds of stuff for sale. So I definitely check out Moonshine Festival too if you're in the area in the fall. Lots of you asked this question about some of these areas, and one of the cons I would have to say about Dawsonville, Georgia is that there is no hospital there. It is a smaller community. There's less than 30,000 people in the county, but if you need an emergency room or you need a hospital facility, just know that there's not one there. That being said, there are medical facilities in Dawsonville, doctor's offices. There's an urgent care, a couple of urgent cares in Dawsonville, but there is no hospital. Your closest hospitals will be in Forsyth County in Cumming, on right off of Georgia 400 on exit 14. That's Northside Hospital, Forsyth. I would say Northside Hospital in Forsyth is maybe 30 minutes away. And in Gainesville, which is about 30 minutes to the east, you have Northeast Georgia Medical Center. And lastly, about 15 to 20 minutes to the north, Dahlonega is also opening a smaller regional hospital, which is a Northeast Georgia hospital as well. So you can get to a hospital relatively quickly, but there is no actual hospital in Dawsonville. And depending on how you look at this next one, could be a pro or a con. I'm going to call it a pro. Dawsonville has seen a steady population growth over the past 10 years or so. So depending on how you look at this next one, it could be a pro or a con. But I'm going to call this a pro. But over the last 50 years or so, Dawsonville has seen very slow but steady growth. Back in 1970, the entire county had just under 5,000 people, and now we're at somewhere around 30,000 people almost in Dawson County. So not a major explosion, but some of the locals naturally don't want to have a massive explosion of population like Forsyth County saw over the past 20 to 30 years or so. But just driving around and working in and around Dawsonville, I'm thinking that is a reality that's going to happen sooner than later. There are probably 4 or 5 major neighborhoods going up in Dawsonville currently. There's a D.R. Horton neighborhood. I think there's 3 that just went up on Dawson Forest Road, and there's a couple others planned, and a major development going up just north of Highway 53 on the east side of Georgia 400. So the growth is coming, and I think it's coming sooner than later. My thinking is that because we're on that Georgia 400 corridor, the sprawl can only go basically one direction on Georgia 400, and that's north. And the next one in line after Cumming, which is seeing a bunch of growth, is Dawsonville and Dawson County. So maybe some of that outlet mall traffic might get a little worse over the coming years. We'll see what happens. My next con for Dawson County is there aren't a lot of school options. Now, you might say, well, duh. Yeah, there's only 28,000 people in the county. But yeah, you only have 2 elementary schools, 1 junior high school, and you have a high school. So you don't have a choice of 5 high schools, 6 or 7 middle schools, and 10 elementary schools like some other metro Atlanta counties there. But a pro is that the schools are great. great. They're rated pretty high. As you can see on this graphic here, we pulled this off of niche.com. Pretty high grades across the board there. So that is a definite pro for those of you who are going to have school-age kids moving into the area. From a real estate perspective, I would say a pro is that the housing is relatively inexpensive, especially compared to some of the other metro Atlanta counties. As you can see on this chart here, the median home price in 2023, we're filming this in March of 2023, is about $415,000. That's significantly cheaper than the neighboring county to the south, Forsyth County, that I've mentioned. One of the pros about living in Dawson County, especially from a real estate perspective, is that the house prices are relatively inexpensive. As you can see on this chart we're going to put up on the screen, the median sales price in Dawson County in 2023 is about $415,000. And I say relatively inexpensive because if you go one county to the south, in Forsyth County, the median sales price is about $548,000. It was like 130 grand difference just one county to the north. But that leads me to a con, which is that Dawson County does not have very many homes for sale. We got another chart for you that's going to show you the available homes for sale, and this is March of 2023. Dawson County has about 92 homes for sale, and to the south, Forsyth County has about 332 homes for sale, and over to the east in Hall County, you've got 400 homes for sale. So the house prices are good relatively in Dawsonville, but it's going to be harder to find one than if you were looking in Forsyth County or in Hall County. So if you're thinking about moving to Dawsonville, Georgia, please give me a call. I'll be more than happy to help you find something. All right, let me know what you think about the video. Of course, leave your comments in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if there's anything that I didn't cover that you'd like for me to cover, please leave a comment below. I'd be happy to help out with that too. And don't forget, we said we're going to talk about the nuclear facility down there in Dawson County, and let's give you a little bit of info on it. So Dawson Forest is a 10,000 acre tract of land. It's a giant square. So if you look at a map of Dawsonville, Georgia, you'll see a giant green square, and that is a 10,000 acre piece of property that's owned by the city of Atlanta. And in the late 50s and into the 60s, there was a joint nuclear testing facility that was run by the Air Force and Lockheed Martin. So the main use of this facility, or the main reason why this facility existed in Dawson Forest, was for the government to figure out if a nuclear powered airplane was a viable option. No one really knows a whole lot about this facility. I pulled up a little article on onlyinyourstate.com, and according to this website, take that with a grain of salt, is that whenever the nuclear reactor was turned on, all the personnel would need to retreat underground because of the fallout that would happen. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just telling you what I read on this website. But Dawson Forest is now like a natural area. There's trails. A lot of people do horseback riding. You can go fishing. I've gone fishing there. I have not caught any fish with two heads or anything like that. But the facility itself just looks like a giant concrete building with no windows or anything. It's completely fenced off, and it's a little bit creepy, to be honest. There's tales of weird things going on in the woods out there. Nobody really knows, but it's definitely a unique thing, especially to the Dawson County there. And from my understanding, everything's cool in Dawsonville. It's not like you've got the hills have eyes or anything going on out there. So if you want to go explore it, see if there's anything creepy out there in the Dawson Forest, be my guest. I don't like scary stuff, so I'm not going to go out there. That's all I got for you. I hope you had a great time watching this video. I'll see you on the next one.